Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's a little bit early today for Friday, last day of NFT.NYC. And today we're going to talk about the power of NFT microtransactions, shifting the high value for a high volume market cap. And first, to introduce myself, my name is Mariana Bernado. I work at Our Protocol. I'm product director. And what we are creating is really like standards for NFT data and logic that will allow creators, game studios, also artists, and everyone to be able to launch no-code solutions with us, but also creating like dynamic NFT utilities. So we were going to have no-code solutions. We have also SDKs, CLIs, and allowing a faster development. I have over like 7 years experience in startups, in blockchain, a little bit around 3 years. I launched the first tokenized condo in Miami. It was a pretty cool, fun experience. And today, we're going to talk and understand a little bit more the problem and the high volume opportunity we have today in the NFT market. So if you look at the market today, we have the top 1% NFT collections having all the market revenue. And this is a problem because when we look at the others collections, we don't have so much economic sustainability because the trading fees are based in the value of the NFT. Also, the market is defined by high-value one-time sales and having like a little bit of more like long-term in the trading fees in the top 1% NFT collections. Plus, when we have a very high value for the NFTs, we are not so much accessible for everyone be able to purchase or to enter the space. And when we deep dive a little bit more in this opportunity in the high volume, we just look like the collections or the assets today, and we see a little about a lack of utility. And then also some monetizations models that can be able to follow with it. Because if we just have the revenue sales, what is about the utility interaction? What is about the micro interaction that you can have with the brand, with the company, with the game, right? And this high volume model also encourages the creation, the consumption of a more diverse range of assets. So this can be like in-game assets, can be membership utilities. It can be also like I want to reward and unlock some new feature. And also fosters the innovative solutions for creators, providing a better customer engagement, gives you a better and bigger LTV with your customers. And in the end, also creates more utility for the whole ecosystem, bringing more value, more people, and making people to stay. So our theory really is that we can capitalize more in the long tail of the digital assets, and this unlocking new revenue sources and expanding more opportunities for creators and consumers alike. So some examples, what we see a lot, and especially in games, is like the skins, these weapons, the in-game items. But this was always made in a very centralized way in the game studios. What we're saying right now is bringing this as a micro-transaction utility on the blockchain. So selling these high volumes and in a more scalable way also will make these items more reproducible. And also, instead of selling like a very high value small items, we're selling like a high volume of items. So our theory for this is that the dynamic NFTs will be the one that will shift towards the microtransaction model. We are going to have now assets that can adapt, evolve, and interact over the time. And traditional NFTs, normally they are static. They're kind of boring. And what we see right now with the dynamic NFTs, it can retain more value for the customer because you're just keeping the high value market cap. You're keeping like the value of NFT because you're upgrading it over time. And normally today, or what we see in projects developing and bringing dynamic NFT utilities for their ecosystem, is that normally who has the bigger budgets, the bigger development, or more devs are able to customize some development on it. And right now we have tools, we have protocols that is allowing people to just create and deploy on top of some standards. So we have like our protocol, other tools as well. We have Third Web, we have other companies that is allowing people to deploy without needing to start from scratch. And when we adapt and when we integrate dynamic NFTs for these new ecosystems, we can unleash like multiple benefits for creators, for devs, and for customers. So for the creators, We can personalize now more assets. We can allow the user to personalize the asset the way they want. We can allow with this personalization to be like this interaction fee between the brand, between the company, between the game, and the users. So we have a long-term engagement. We retain more people because we're interacting with them. We're allowing more interactions that is not just like keeping the NFT in your wallet, sitting there waiting for some like marketing shift. We're also allowing these new monetization avenues. Why? Because if I'm interacting with my NFT and I'm adapting, I'm evolving, or I'm redeeming any reward, I'm allowing new revenues to be added to the blockchain and to the users. So instead of having like the trading fees now, we're going to have like the utility fees that for us will surpass the trading fees over the long term, because it's just adding more value to the whole ecosystem, making people to stay, making people to redeem and want to claim these rewards. And for the users, is the interactivity between the assets, between the brands. So I know now I'm interacting with you. I'm not just like being part of your community and having one of your assets, but now I'm interacting with the new possible ways that you're allowing me to interact with. I have also the value retention of my assets, because now if the assets are providing more utilities, better, because I have more long and medium-term utilities to engage with. And the unilateral partnerships means that if we have standard ways of deploying these contracts, of deploying these assets, you can allow unilateral collaborations between projects, between brands. So if two projects or two games collaborate together to unlock extra items, perfect. Me as a user, I have more ways of interacting with different projects. And also as a game studio perspective or a dev's perspective, I'm unlocking and using like dynamic NFTs or these NFT logics as a new marketing tool. And looking the game assets or even the history of like the game market interacting with these microtransactions models, we see microtransactions always being like live and present on the games, right? So if we look even the market cap of a gaming like 176 billion probably in 2020, we have like a big portion of the market's revenue being based on mobile games. And mobile games really rely heavily on microtransaction models. Not just this, but also when we look like big companies like EA or Activision or even Blizzard, all of their revenues is coming even with the microtransactions or the interactions or the purchase being made in their marketplace. So we need to overcome challenge to build a sustainable NFT economy. So for this, we need to decentralize NFT metadata. We need NFTs that will support dynamic data with fair alterations through related NFTs or decentralized smart contracts. And we need to establish data encoding standards. People will need to be able to render this data. We need to interpret this data and transport this data to other places. And how we tackle this challenge? With NFT data coding standard, with a better onboarding. We need Magic Link. We need like people to be able to easily integrate their games. We need to be able to transport these items that you have like being developing and creating and purchasing in your life through other tools, other platforms. We need SDK, CLI tools, no-code platforms. So we just like abstract the blockchain complexity, but also we allow a faster development. And we need open source, because we need to lower the entry barrier for NFT utilities and dynamic NFTs. Right now, what we have in the market is a lot of projects being able to custom development the solutions, but these projects are the ones that have like the bigger budget, and we need to make it accessible to everyone. My name is Mariana Bernado. I'm product director at Our Protocol. We have a booth right there on your right. We are glad to continue the conversation talking about more NFT, logic, data, and new mechanics that you can create in the space. Thank you so much.